it's better if you're writing something on your own and justifying it. Okay. Can you guys see the screen?
Yes, Musbah.
It's recording now. All right. So this is one of the important topic. Maybe it can be part of your exam also. So building, leading, and managing teams. So as we discussed previously, also CIMA is testing on two core areas. That is people and leadership. So in leadership, they are looking for this team. Okay. So firstly, if you start with the basic, what is the difference between team and a group? The primary difference is a group can be a number of people, but the same group, if they are working towards the same goal, or the number of people are working towards the same goal, it becomes a team. For example, now we are a team. We are working for case study exams. So in our case, in Ressett, let's say we have a procurement team, we have sales team, right? So how to make a team effective? That's a very important skill of a leader. As a manager, as a leader, we have to showcase that skill, and we have certain points for that. So the level of group performance is affected by manner in which teams comes together. Tuckman suggests 4 stages of development. Usually, we have 4 stages of a team. First is forming. At this initial stage, the team members are a collection of individuals who are unsure of their roles and responsibilities until the manager clearly defines the initial process and procedures for the team actors. So technically here we are finding out individuals. Maybe the individuals themselves are not very clear what will be their role, because the manager is looking from them, or the team leader or the director, the CEO is looking for them to do a particular task. Then we have storming. Storming is the most difficult point. Here a lot of conflict and tensions can happen because people have their own biases and their understanding, but now the managers or the leaders are negotiating with them to work in a different way. So a lot of times in storming, the entire team will be against the manager. Some of them can even leave. So this is the most difficult task. Most teams go through this difficult stage. As tasks get underway, team members may try to test the manager's authority, and team preconceptions are challenged. For example, somebody was working in a certain role. Now they have to go down, and the other person will be taking the lead. So obviously, it might create conflict. So here we have to show a leadership skill. The conflict resolution skill is the leadership skill of the managers are vital at this stage, and he or she needs to be more flexible to allow team members to question and test their roles and responsibilities and to get involved in decision making. So first we are finding the individuals, then in storming we are technically getting them to be flexible in what they need to do or try certain things. Then eventually in the third stage we are norming it. This stage establishes the norms under which the team will operate, and team relationship becomes settled. Team procedures are refined. Managers will begin past control and decision making authority. Then eventually it's about performance. Operation to a full project. Whatever project we are doing, progress is made towards the set objectives and team feels confident and empowered. So technically these are the 4 steps. And if we add another one, last one is adjourning. Why you want to adjourn? That can be a question. So usually if the same people are working together, there has been seen a trend that the effectiveness will go down, and when they're working as a team, they'll start blaming others and no individual will take the responsibility, and group thinking can make a slower progress. So even if company wants a new team to work a similar project or teams to work a similar project, they'll come up with the new team. They'll keep on doing the changes so that everyone is motivated and they have some motivation to show others, especially in storming when they face the conflict. That can be a motivating factor many times. So ideally, the team should be adjourned. It may be not necessary into the same project as soon as the project is done. Maybe they can do multiple projects together, then it can be adjourned. Or maybe company can decide to keep it same for a year or two, then they'll adjourn. It all depends on the management, the industry, the business, and all of that. And eventually, what will happen more than the task, the individuals will become very friendly, and their main aim will be to keep other people happy and be in a team rather than succeeding. So that's the bigger problem. If a team remains for a long time in performing phase, there is a danger that it will be operating on automatic pilot. Group thinking occurs to the extent that the group may be unaware of changing circumstances. Instead, maintaining the team becomes one of its primary objectives. They're more about being in a team rather than achieving the goal. In this situation, it may be necessary for the group to adjourn or be suspended. So, what type of question can be asked from here? They will say that Ressett is trying to take a new project and you want to do a team building. What are the steps we need to consider? So you can answer that question using this 5 paragraph. Or if they ask you in team building which step you feel like is the most difficult, then you can talk about storming. Any questions? I would suggest just know the headers. Then explanation you can do in your own words.
Can we discuss a little bit of storming?
Right. So most teams go through this conflict stage. A task get underway. Team members may try to test the manager's authority and team preconceptions are challenged. Conflict and tensions may become high. So everyone has their personal interest, personal target, right? So they want to be in a better position, or maybe they are trying to delegate the load on somebody else. Or if you want to understand better, we can even think of it's like a brainstorming. We are deciding who will do what, and obviously, if somebody has worked in certain position in the past, they must be expecting, okay, I have taken care of the negotiation this time. I also do the same. But maybe that's not the case this time.
Okay.
Or previously the team was working from home and now everyone has to be work from office. It can be a different kind of challenges the team might be facing, or
Okay.
maybe they are low on budget. Some people might have to compromise, and the biggest problem in team what can happen is many times the other individual will think, okay, I'm contributing more and I'm not getting anything extra for that.
Means
But you want
dealing
to
with,
pass on the responsibility.
means that dealing with any sort of challenges in team building, that is storming. This is what you want to say. Means,
Yes.
yeah. Okay.
So before the things actually take place, there will be some kind of conflict, and it's obvious. It will happen because
Yeah.
agreement, disagreement will happen. Where we have people, we'll have conflict, we'll have agreement, disagreement.
Of course.
And this is usually the first time, or it's new for all of them to work together. By the
Yeah.
time we are adjourning, they have become, kind of friends and familiar to each other. They respect and they have a team. But now it's their personal interest. It's
Yeah.
what they have done in the past.
Mm.
In the worst scenario, maybe some of the employees might leave. They might not be happy. So as a leader, we should understand how much to push, and we should also have an idea how much flexible the other person can be, and can we afford to lose that resource.
Okay. Got it.
They have mentioned a good word here. Managers, they want to test managers' authority. Why? Because they want to challenge the manager also. They might reach out to senior management and complain, this is the way this has been done and it will affect the effectiveness.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. That's
This is
storming.
part of project management. So project director, we have project manager. Usually they should be given the authority. Let's say if somebody is going and reaching senior management and getting the work done, that means we have not given enough authority.
Yeah.
The team won't trust or will have that level of efforts to go through it.
Mm. Okay. Oh,
So what we need to know is the names are enough, and to explain, obviously they are not expecting us to do this definition in the exam. If this comes, we have to apply to the scenario. They will give you exactly what kind of project it is. If they're asking about this team, how many members are there, they will also give you a hint what kind of challenges we are expecting. Okay.
Misbah, we can add one more point after forming, like goal setting, because once the team is forming, manager
Hmm.
should set the goal or objective during the year. Then he can do the brainstorming on that. So, can we add one more point on second, like goal setting or objective setting?
Maybe I think it can be part of forming or storming, because in both of that we have to do the goals. The goal should be clear. Then only we are changing the roles. For example, manage clearly defines the initial process and procedures. Procedures and process are what? To achieve something, right? And even in storming is the same logic. If you want to explain in a different subheading, I think it should not be a problem. You just don't need to mention then Tuckman name. Just say these are the famous or these are the most important points to consider as a team. That's fine. But if you're using this name, I think it's not good to use different headings.
Okay.
The explanation is fine. So if you go by the chart, this is how it will look. Orientation, acquaintance. It's good a company should go through the storm, then eventually they'll go in the performance. Okay. Then next, Peters and Waterman identify 5 key aspects of successful team. There will be a lot of models in E2, and every model has a different name. It's fine. If you just focus on key areas, it's fine. That is the aspect. Okay, that too, as I said, you can use in your own words. Understand the logic, what they are trying to tell us. The number should be small. Inevitably, each member will then represent the interest of their section department. Let's say we don't have a very big company. In our case, we don't have section department, maybe individual. Larger teams will be slower and harder to manage. So what they are saying, team should be small. But again, in certain cases, a bigger team might also help. In our cases, I think small is enough. The team should be of limited duration and exist only to achieve a particular task. So if you see this sentence, they are talking about adjourn, advantages of adjourn. Then third, membership should be voluntary. Where members do not want to be part of the group, they are unwilling to participate fully. This might be, we can discuss this about voluntary. Then communication should be informal and unstructured with little documentation, no status bar. So therefore, many companies they do team outing. Every department they go out. They want to be informal. They're they have team dinner, team lunch. You guys must be traveling for that, isn't it? So usually people open up in informal, unstructured event, because in the formal, or if it is, let's say, through just email, then people might be just trying to be very nice, or they just want to say what others want to listen. They're not very honest. So unstructured is very important. Therefore, a good manager, good leader is reaching out to their team personally and trying to understand their logic, why they are thinking certain way, or what is the rationale behind the decision making, and they will give an hint. Or if there is any personal issue, therefore they are not ready to part of the team, or sometimes they're scared of losing their job, or they don't know the skill that is required. And if they feel like they cannot learn, also that can be another problem. Action oriented. It should be action oriented. The team should create a plan for action, not just a word of form of words. Plan of action means we should have a target. Let's say weekly target, monthly target, and eventually how we are reaching to the end goal. Number 3, coming back to that, membership should be voluntary. It may be good in certain cases, but in certain cases we might have to stretch that resource. We might have to utilize. We cannot bring in people. So I think this can be challenges. Because a lot of time, if you say voluntary, most of the people will say no, right? Especially if you're asking them to do a part of a team apart from their current work. What else can be leading to a successful team apart from these 5 points? What do you think is good in your current team, and what do you think it should be improved? You guys are part of team. You're working. Hello.
These are good points. I believe that loyalty is the first key. That is the key actually. If the members are loyal, the team members are loyal to the task, to the assignment, and to the team leader, then only it will be achievable.
Loyalty among the team members, you mean the trust?
Exactly, the trust.
Okay. If they know each other already, I think it will come. But imagine if it is the first time they are working together.
Yeah, it will be hard, of course, but definitely it's the team leader's responsibility to bring to some certain level that it is achievable and the task is achievable with that.
Right. Okay. Moving on, team building exercises tend to be based around developing the team in several areas, including problem solving exercise. A lot of time we see that they play games also. They do some outside work exercise to build trust between team members, social interaction like a travel. So what we need to know from this and the next chapter in simple words, what type of question can come is how to manage team, what is effective team, and in the team management they'll also ask obviously about the conflict. Whether people are there, there can be conflict, or they can ask other aspect like how to motivate, what should be done, what should not be done. What should be not done is like what can affect people's performance. How we can set up policy, or what kind of leadership style can help. Okay. Next one is, I mean, there are a lot of information, every next page is a new model, a new point. You just understand why we are doing it. Okay. If you have same points, it's good. If you want to explain certain other point, is fine. But whatever you say, you have to explain why you feel like. Let's say here we are talking about conflict management. If you're saying confrontation negotiation, if you put this as a header in your exam, so we'll not get marks unless we explain why confrontation negotiation can help for Ressett, especially in the current scenario. What is the scenario? Scenario we'll know in the exam. Maybe we have issue with the seller, we have issues with our customer or after sales service. You're getting the point? If things goes bigger, we can also get a third party consultant, because a lot of time the conflict is not just because of the work. Maybe they dislike the other person, so third party consultant can help. Then intergroup training. Usually they are working with different group. They must be tired or there are issues. They'll go in different group and try to understand what issues they are facing. and how they solve. So that might also help. Member rotation. This is good for motivation as well. Member rotation will, like we just discussed, many times the team member are thinking they are contributing more than the other person. Maybe all are contributing equally, but most of them will think I am contributing more than the others. So if you do member rotation, do each other's work. Let's say they are all from finance department, so they'll understand most of the work. So if they do other people work, now they'll understand the challenge. What challenge the other person is, why they have a certain way of communicating, why they were pressing for certain resources. Then another thing can be subordinate goals. So technically, we should have a goal congruence. Goal congruence means the entire group is thinking towards the same goal. It's not like individual KPIs are so much different from each other. They are not ready to contribute and collaborate. But the success of individual should be dependent on the success of a company or success of a group. Then they will have more motivation to work in this. Makes sense? Which one do you think is the best for us, looking at the size of our organization? Firstly, what kind of conflict can we face? And which one of this do you think will work?
I believe intergroup training is a good tool for this.
Intergroup training for us? Okay.
Yeah.
Why?
And then sometimes member rotation as well. So because when our teams are definitely they are linked with each other. Like the purchasing team has to link with the sales team, and they should know that what they are procuring and what they are what sales team is going to sell. If they are not in alignment, and they are procuring, the procurement team is procuring some items which are with the sales team is not aligned, definitely it will be a clash. So there will be difference of opinion in both of them. If we have a team building between them, and then intergroup training with them, definitely they'll have a stronger relationship, and there will be team building. They will be working together better, of course. So that's how this intergroup training will work. And the same thing is the member rotation. If we feel that some members are fit for other roles, definitely multi-purpose people are definitely multitasking people are always good for the organization. So we can rotate the people who can be fit in another role as well, or in another team as well. Yeah.
Right. So, if I tell you honestly, in a management case study, conflict is a common question, irrespective of the case study. CIMA is looking for to test on conflict because that's the best way to test your people skill. And it's very easy to score. So be ready for that. Okay. And we can even go one step and think what kind of conflict can arise in our business.
Okay.
It may be, the purchasing department and the sales department, because sales department will have a pressure to do more, and they'll try to blame maybe the purchasing department for not procuring the exact hardware, the laptop or phones, which is in demand.
Yeah, exactly.
And maybe everything will with this.
Yeah. Or there are some clashes between the functions that who will do what wherever there's a gray area, or there is overlap in the functions in some activities. Both two functions or two departments are always fighting with each other whether who will do this, who will actually, whose responsibility is this. So if they are well aligned and their team leaders are good, have built their team well, then definitely it will help to understand them that who will do what. So that will have, otherwise it will be a clash and conflict with the teams.
Yes. They have given clearly the roles. I hope you're revisiting the pre-scene. In that they have mentioned what roles and responsibilities the individuals or the groups have. So we should have a good understanding. And when you're answering in the exam, we don't need to be generalized. We have to always bring it back. They might give basic information in the reference material, but we should know what was the role and why this is happening. For example, now this is about the software. I'll go to that page. This is about where we are buying from. There's nothing to worry. This is done. This is the grading. Yeah. So once you start into the business, when they say buying, so you can just look at it as a buying department. They have mentioned the buying department also buys consumables in bulk. Consumables in bulk. Customers often browse the Ressett website looking for inexpensive items such as USB memory stick and make impulsive purchase of more expensive products such as tab. So one is the buying department. They buy in bulk. Now they can be blamed for a lot of things. Let's say they have overpaid, they've underpaid, they have not got the required quality, they have not negotiated on the time of delivery. We have discussed about logistic companies who are delivering to customers, but who is delivering to us? That is also not clear. Is it the same logistic company or is it the company from where we are buying? And it's whose responsibility? Isn't it? It may be another logistic company. So know the role of buying and sales department also. Now sales department is responsible for maintaining Ressett's website. And now when they are setting the website, it depends on the buying department. And they have mentioned we need around 50 units when we are uploading something. Reputation risk can arise if you have posted on the website and the buying department is not procured it on the right time, or it's not available with us. Then inventory department is responsible for preparing goods for listing on the website and also for making them ready for sale. Then another conflict might arise between sales and inventory department. So what do you do, right? In one paragraph, what each department does in simple words and how it is connected with the other department. So it will be easy for you to understand. And last, we have administration. So we are part of administration, the finance team and everything. So administration is obviously above them, so there is no chance of conflict because they have authoritarian power. Usually, again, conflict can be of two types. One is horizontal, another one is vertical. If you're talking about horizontal, means at the same level. There is high probability of having something at horizontal level. Two people at the same. Other one is vertical. One person or one team is on the top of the other. In vertical, still the top team or top position can dominate. But that can also arise. There is a different way in dealing with conflict with vertical and horizontal. Clear? But the answer remains the same. Your headers, you can always use this, whatever question they ask, using the conflict. It's mostly for the team, but as an individual also, some of the points can be used. Mostly they'll ask for the team, for a group. Clear? Akshay, Abhijit, Wali.
Yes, Mr.
These are
Yes.
simple points, and you should score good marks in this. It's about how you can elaborate it. Now, just continuing in that, managing organizational relationship. So organizational relationship means they are not talking about building any personal relationship, but if the other person has a respect for you, you have respect for your manager, and if you are a manager, your team has respect for you, definitely things will be better. So how to manage that relationship? Like we discussed a little bit of this yesterday. Everything is coming down to communication. And honestly, if you want to be successful in career, it's all about communication. Whether it's AI and whatever new technology is coming, communication can always give us an advantage. For example, as a CIMA qualified, every CIMA qualified will have, let's say, similar knowledge, but some of them will go extraordinary where most of them can be an average. They'll get benefit, but not that much. Why? Because they are not communicating their knowledge. And if the management doesn't think that value is being added, it's very difficult. I've seen people who did CIMA and it's been like 2 3 years. They are doing the same type of job they used to do before. And some of they are like, they are even complaining they are not getting their raise or they are not getting benefit. Then I told them, what you are contributing, does that change? They said, no, it's the same thing. Then why company will value it? You find a new role in a company or at least communicate in the company. I can do different ways. Communication important. The manager is not aware they are qualified. The team doesn't think they can contribute in different way. It's just into the mind. So good communication skills are often included as an essential management competence, since people with good communication skills have been found to make better decisions and tend to be promoted more frequent. So you have got one success tip. Then types of communication. This is also important. Formal and informal. Usually we think that everything is decided in formal, but we can say most of the things are decided in informal communication, which happen outside the meeting, outside the board meeting. Maybe officially they disclose it in a formal communication, but usually human beings like informal communication, right? Formal communication is planned and intentional and tends to have a more professional tone. This is generally used within a work context. Like emails are usually formal. Informal, more casual in nature and generally unplanned. Let's say WhatsApp or a text message. They are more relaxed tone. Both are very important, especially in the team, like we discussed in previous chapter. The team leader and the management need to be more informal. Then they can easily break the ice. What is ice breaking? When somebody meets the other one first time, they are having a little bit of constraint. They don't want to open up, and once the ice break, it's easy to gel. It's easy to open up. Communication sounds easy, but it's very difficult because people are from different culture, different background, different geography. For example, here this is a very good chart. Sender is, let's say, you are a sender. You are sending, saying something. You have something in mind, and this is your choice of words. Okay, so choice of word is the first thing that is important. Then the channel you are using. Let's say it's a meeting you're just talking, or it's like video plus audio, or it's just a text. That's a channel. Then how the other person decoded. What was your choice of words and what they are asked? Understanding from it. Especially if you're using certain words which is not exactly as per the dictionary or English understanding. It's just about the culture, or we can call it like slang words. It can be very difficult. Then what the receiver think about it? Sometimes just the channel can be a problem. Sometimes it's just uh, the timing also matters. It's for a silly thing. If somebody just talking, calling their team member in the night time, definitely they'll be demoted, isn't it? They'll be like, you should have texted, or maybe it was not right time. So channel also matter. On the top of that, the tone, the noise, what you're talking about, and eventually the feedback. Both should have a feedback from each other for a better understanding. Maybe it's not formal. In informal, they'll understand. The feedback and learning is important. And every person in a team also can have a different way of communication. They like in a different way of communication. It happened with me also, honestly. Usually it's different time zones, so I message in night time, sometime early morning. So most of the students are happy. Okay, you're messaging late, just to motivate. But sometimes some students feel, okay, this is not the right time. I got disturbed. You message in the morning. It doesn't matter what study, what exam. it is. So it's our responsibility to understand. What do you think? What do you guys think the best way of communicating? Looking at the size of our organization and business, like you're a finance manager, now you have to manage your team, not your team in finance. They'll give you other roles also. Which kind of communication will work? Which channel? How you want to use the choice of words and all?
Mostly formal, of course.
You want to use mostly formal? Okay.
But definitely it's at the start, and then with the passage of time, it will become your regular team, and then you have to be informal as well with that.
And what about this? Which channel you will use? How you'll encode, and how you'll understand the other person is decoding? I will make sure that you're communicating exactly what you want. Because many times people have their bias. Even if you're praising someone, they'll think like it's just a show. They're decoding in a wrong way.
Mm.
Or how companies can do it in generalized way.
Okay, so mostly, see, mostly it's if it is within the team, then we do any informal communication. It may be informal. It's within the team, and it's nothing to officiate. If anything to officiate, definitely we have to be formal, and then we have to on email and all. But just to do small tasks and the day-to-day activities, we need to be formal. It will be oral, direct, in-person discussion, or on simple call, just a phone call, or even WhatsApp are working nowadays. So, but if we need to appreciate something, definitely we have to bring it in a formal communication like. So this is what we are doing in practice.
Okay. Others, what do you think?
Misbah, it should be a formal communication. We have a Teams platform, so even employees are doing the work from home. They can connect through the Teams, and we can have the Teams meeting. Also, they can share the files, or even if the task they are doing, they can upload in the Teams. So in that way, we can, have the formal meetings in the Teams.
So you think in formal meetings that decoding or wrong decoding of the communication is less. Therefore, you want to have more formal meeting.
Yeah, because the formal meeting should be recorded what we are doing, or if suppose the manager uh, send one task to us, then it should be recorded on the in the email or Teams. So
Okay.
in that way, I would suggest the formal communication instead of the informal.
And how you'll solve the problem in formal people communication? Usually the team doesn't open up. And now you are saying to record also. Now again, people will not open up. They'll try. They'll say what they feel they should say. They will not exactly be honest. And when it comes to decision making, they'll make completely different decision. So it can create a lot of new problem rather than solving problem. It can create conflict. It can delay the project. It can affect the business profitability eventually.
But if we offer the hybrid model to our employees, they can have the uh, the that uh, what we can say flexibility to have the call on the teams instead of doing one-to-one call.
Hmm.
Okay, what about Akshay? What do you think?
Misbah, it should be mixed, I'll say. It cannot be completely formal or informal. So it's depend on the situation to situation. Let's suppose we are discussing about the company goal. So we can have a formal meeting and everything. But being a manager, you have to be bit more friendly to your subordinates, or I'll say employees or partners, because it help you to understand their issues, where they're stuck. Because in formal meeting, no one gonna explain you everything, or if they have some issue with some of their other colleagues. I'm not saying go and solve the family issues, but still, being a human, we have emotional attached with our work, with our family, with our life. So informal communication is not look as good, but yeah, there is. If you do informal communication, people bring the trust in it in the for the company and the manager, and they work more hard. This is what I feel.
And what about this encoding and decoding data?
So in encoding and decoding is a, for me, the basic understanding. You should be a good listener if you are on the managing level. So you have to listen everything before you speak up or before you give your suggestion on anything. Because like if I'll do things on email or something, most of the meeting should be not recorded in terms of like if it is like a call meeting, definitely it's about the goal or something. But if it is a feedback call or something, it should be face to face. And it should be first you have to listen to both of them. Like listener, you should be a good listener before giving any kind of suggestion or feedback, I feel.
Good point. Because the manager should not dominate and think like he or she is always right.
So this is what is happening with me, so I know how it is. I like it's most of the time happens. I told you before as well, when you work with so many, I don't want to be a misogynist, but it is what it is. I have seen for in my case.
Because there is a bias. The manager can end up thinking they are the one putting most of the efforts. Excuse me. Excuse me. And the other person is not very serious. Maybe they are serious and they are trying to learn new things, especially when we go through change in an organization. Or for example, a new employee joins, or when we join a new team, it's a change. It's as good as joining a new company, even if it's a new project. Because no two projects are same.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So highlight all these points in your answer, and definitely it will give us marks. Don't try to bring in theory every time. If you don't know any model name and all, is fine. Just explain what you want. Then digital tools of communication, we talk about discussion forums are there, internal blogs, private messaging, chats, internet, bring your own device. All of this can be part of company. Influence, persuasion, and negotiation, all aspect of communication. Influencing others. Like we are living in a world where influencers have got so much of population. I mean, so much of population behind them. In fact, in strategy case study also we are discussing today, when you're making a stakeholder list, obviously it's important everywhere. This individuals who have millions of followers on social media, they have become very, very important. In fact, yesterday we did for us also. There add one more stakeholder as influencers, social media influencers. People who have millions of followers, they can easily tarnish the reputation of Ressett, or they can uh, easily improve our sales. Their one feedback, one post can affect us. Because usually it's a human tendency, they want to copy and do something similar to the person they like. And these are all these sports celebrities, movie celebrities, they have so much of followers. But from other aspect also, they have a very good influence, right? Then persuasion. So influencing will work Beyond that, now we are talking from the manager perspective. The manager can influence. Then persuasion is the attempt to deliberately get others to change. So this can be using the power or showing them a risk or reward for doing that. Reward for doing it, risk for not doing it. Then negotiation. It is the ability to discuss an issue with one or more other people in attempting to establish ways to reach agreement. So usually this is a ideal way to do it because influence can also be biased. In negotiation, again, it's very important to listen to the other person. It's not like we are coming up with this. However, in negotiation, we can also talk about what's the thing we can compromise, what things we cannot compromise, and how we can take it forward. When we are sitting for negotiation, the mindset should be we are getting a positive outcome. We are ready to be a little bit flexible with our terms and conditions. So both the parties should come with the understanding. Ideally, negotiation will happen with win-win. Both are win. If not that, at least we should win as a company. And the third scenario to avoid is like both are losing. We have some Cialdini has come up with some influencing techniques, or we can also, I think, call it as a social engineering, how society operates. Another place where this is used in the hackers. Hackers also use this on social media to get us click on certain links or malvertising and all. So it can be reciprocity. If somebody gift us on birthday, we feel like giving them back. Same thing. Commitment, desire to maintain consistency in what they have done. Social proof. You must have noticed in applications, it says trusted by these people. 1 million people, 2 million people, or this many 100,000, 200,000. So we get more trust. Then liking. Liking is very important. The followers is all about liking. If they like someone, they usually don't disagree with them. Therefore, at the board of director level, we don't want board members to like each other. No, they should disagree. Because eventually we want the company should get the better result. It's not about they are agreeing or they are scared of hurting each other. No. Then authority. If somebody possesses certain authority, then also people listen to them. Based on usual, like say in advertisement, doctors, they promote certain toothpaste brands, certain medicines. Authority. Then scarcity. If they show scarcity, then also the influencing can be easier. But if you talk about social media influencing, I think we can add another point. It may be a trending topic. It's part of, again, social proof. If everyone is talking about that, or it's in the mainstream media, they come up with something similar. Or marketing people are also very smart in doing that. Any trending topic, they want to convert it into a marketing. Negotiation we just discussed. The negotiation can be between two parties, conflict of interest, no established set of rules. Parties prefer to search rather than to fight openly. Search for an agreement. Whenever the term negotiation means both the parties are interested to go ahead. What type of question can be asked for us is we need to negotiate with our suppliers. What should be the things we should be agreeing or disagreeing when we negotiate with our suppliers? Let's say if we have to answer what are the points, or maybe a question can be what are the points to consider when we are negotiating with our suppliers. What do you think? It's very logical. What you will do?
So Sorry, I just missed the question. So we need to negotiate something with our supplier?
Yes, let's say you are doing a price negotiation with your supplier. We are buying bulk laptops.
Okay, fine.
And what
So,
points you need to consider during the negotiation?
okay, first of all, actually we need to position our brand, our volume with the supplier, and volume of this specific transaction, and we need to convince them that they need to value the relationship, and then in that in the specific term, we can ask them for the how we can deal in the payment terms, and then the delivery terms as well. So those are the negotiation points we need to really consider first of all for these for the vendors.
Right. What are other general things? We have to look. We have to be prepared.
In the bargaining, of course, there are 2-3 points what I mentioned that we need to tell them to consider the volume of this transaction and volume we really take from them, and then the long-term relationship we have, and these are and definitely the market competition. All those things they need to consider to give us a better price for the bargaining.
Others?
For negotiation, we need to know our target, what kind of thing we need from suppliers, like the price down or the bulk buying or specific product. And that if we know the target, we need to use the bargaining, different way of bargaining. Like let's suppose give them the in the beginning of the conversation or anything, we should let them know how beneficial we are for them. So like how we gonna invest in their company or in their sales or goal. So if we start with that, and then we later on will ask like we need these kind of stuff in this much of price and this much of volume, it would be more impactful. So we need to use the bargaining skills as well, a different bargaining skills, start discussing with the positive things, and then later on move to the things what we need.
Right. What else?
I think the first point is that we need to prepare with a target in our mind what we want to achieve. The moment we know what we want to achieve, then we position ourselves based on our experience and the number of years we are into the industry. Second, what is the volume we are looking at? So when we are talking about volumes, when you tell them this is the volume we are going to pick up, now you are in a bargaining point of view. Now you should, before that, when the preparation, before initially, you should know exactly the supplier, how much he will come down, or what is his uh, expertise, or what is the maximum he will be able to bend down. So that point we have to define within ourselves first by doing a research. Then only you can achieve at a midpoint. So when you reach to a point which you have in your goal, that's where you close the final price and you close the deal. That is what we should do.
Right. Makes sense. So we should know what is the maximum we can pay, and what do you think the other person can come down? And if they don't come down, what is the maximum we are ready to pay? And we also need to understand this negotiation doesn't start immediately. We have to invest a lot of time and resources. So you are almost there in the deal, and just towards the end, you want to cancel it. It's a waste of time and resources, isn't it? It's a loss. Now we have to start the new deal from the scratch? Do we have that other deal waiting? What other options we have? That's also another thing. Or sometimes we have the other options, but it might take a lot of time, or at least it will take some time. Another bigger problem is when you are in the initial stage of suppliers, it's always not good to negotiate much. Why? Because you're affecting the relationship. In start, if you give them a little bit of flexibility, you can build up relationship, and it can help in the longer run. Then maybe the other party will also understand, and they'll be happy to negotiate. Because in the start, if you're asking special discount, let's say they are giving to FixUp, maybe FixUp is doing business with them from last 10 years. They won't do the same deal with us in the first year, right?
Right, but how do we know how much deal they're giving to Rixab? It's kind of rarely.
So we need to have a data. We can purchase the data from the market.
It's unethical, Biswa.
Whatever is publicly available, we can do.
Yeah.
And I believe there can be other ways also to understand. We can have an international rate, then we can have a lamland rate. If you are into the business from last 40 years, I think we'll have an idea. Because in B2B deals, there are no two deals at the same price. If it is business to consumer individual, then it can be same price. And especially if you are moving to just-in-time. In just-in-time approach, we don't want to hold a lot of inventory. If you don't want to hold a lot of inventory, then you need to have extraordinary relationship with the suppliers. You have to think them as a business partners, not as a supplier. So that time, if you are saving your money in inventory by not holding much, then you have to be a little bit flexible with them in negotiation.
Yes.
Usually, the managers negotiating, they can become very much of short term. Their thing is just the short term. Oh, this project, I save some money. I'm very happy. I contribute to the team. But what if it is really, it is affecting the relationship? Maybe in the future it can be problem. That also need to consider. So what we have done in the past, what we are doing currently, what is the future? All of this thing need to be considered. You should always consider both the sides. Many times what happened, we have number of suppliers. So we can easily negotiate. In fact, we can manipulate. But that's unethical. In the short term, it can benefit again. But in the long run, it can create problem. So ideally win-win. If not win-win, win-lose, and avoid this lose-lose. Then another model we have for conflict. Now, which model to use depend on the type of conflict. First is competing. This is what usually happens. Collaborating, other thing when they come together. Accommodating, understand, it's like negotiation. Then low cooperation, little bit support. They are just doing their job, and ideally it can be compromised. So it also depends on the culture of the organization, or what the top management, what policies they have, and if they are interlinked with their performance, with their personal results. No single style is superior. For example, competing may feel harsh, but is vital in crisis. Accommodating may seek weak, but builds goodwill. So it depends on what situation we have. Competing, eventually if people think they are better than others, so let's compete. Who wins will dominate, who will be winning that thing, who bring more business in our case. They can be, let's say, sales head, or they can decide the sales strategy, marketing strategy. Simple as that. So effective leaders and team adopt their conflict style depending on stake relationships and desired outcome. So here in textbook they are writing no style is superior, but in the exam you have to take the call. You cannot say okay all these are good. You have to say which one and how. You have to show leadership skill. Okay, don't give open-ended answers. Give specific point. We are discussing about vertical and horizontal. Horizontal is the same level. Example: department compete for resources, colleagues clash over responsibilities or recognition. In vertical, managers imposes a policy which employees resist. Staff disagree with leadership decision. So this can create a, again same models can be used, but in a different. There is a high probability one question can come from conflict. If you see both are natural in organizations, require different resolutions. Vertical conflicts often need leadership mediation. Horizontal, it can be competition. Competition can help. We can see the track record, what they have done in the past. Clear? So we'll just take 5 minutes break and we'll start the next chapter. Just before that, whatever we are discussing, make your own personal notes, maybe in small paragraphs, and you should be confident to elaborate. I'm just concerned about one thing. This E2, I have been saying from the start, it's very easy, but you have to remember it, and obviously you have to explain it. Remembering is also easy, but you have to elaborate. If it is 60% conflict question, you have to write 6 paragraphs. Maybe for 2 paragraphs, you'll feel easy. After 2, it will be difficult. That's where the challenge comes.
Is there any possibility of these questions coming in this attempt?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. Conflict, yes. It's very commonly asked. Either conflict or either this team project, at least one of that should come.
Okay.
One question from this chapter, I'm very confident.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
So in 5 minutes, we'll start the next one.
Okay. Sure.
All right. You guys back?
Yes, Vidhu.
Hope others are also back. So now we are moving into the next section, that is project management. Directly, indirectly, it's all about the leadership skill again. What we have leadership skill in conflict, what we have in negotiation now, what leadership skill we should have in project management or as a project manager. Technically, in CIMA also they say you'll be asked questions on regarding the normal issues plus on the projects. Why they mention projects separately? Because every project is unique, is totally different. If you have done it before, then we'll not call it as a project. You'll call it it's a normal business operation. For example, now you guys writing this CIMA exam, it's a project. It's not a normal routine for. The project has a number of key attributes which differentiates from business as usual. It's not business as usual. It's specific. A project is a unique undertaking to achieve a specific objective. We must have heard so many times, like if you want to be a business leader, you have to be a problem solver. Why? Because we don't know what kind of problem will come. Every project is unique. If it is the same thing as usual, then we'll not face a lot of problems. Or maybe it's understood. We have policies, we know how to get over it. But in project, we'll have new challenges. Why? Because it's unique. It's different. A project has a defined beginning and end. It should have an end. The project has resources. So it depends on the time, cost, and quality. And where this is coming from, it's coming from the resources like staff, funding allocated specifically for the length of the project. The staff, we are talking about human resource. Funding, we are talking about financial resource. Then we have data in today's world. We have technology, intangible and tangible assets both. The project will also have stakeholders. all those who are interested in the progress and final outcome of the project, like the beneficiary, maybe the banks, the employees, the investors, all of that can be stakeholders. A project will inevitably have some degree of uncertainty. This is very important. Why it will have some degree of uncertainty? If it is too much uncertainty or too much risk, well, definitely the company might think twice whether to go ahead or not. But nothing will be 100%. It will have its obvious. As the uniqueness of it will lead to some degree of risk. Sometimes some degree, sometimes more degree of risk in the deliverables and the activities to achieve the deliverables. So what are the points? Unique, beginning and end, resource, stakeholder, and risk. This is there in every project. Now, if we talk about project management, so project management, if you manage all these 5 things, it's like a project manager. Project management is the management of work of a team to achieve specific goals and objectives. The team will be put together for sole purpose or achieving a project goals and objectives and will be disbanded after the completion. So project team or a team in general is the same. So the logic will be the same. In simple words, project management is all about this 3 triangles. I'm sure you guys might have heard it or worked like this. Is the time. It's not like time is on the top. It's all are same. Timetable of activities. Quality, what quality you want. Then the project cost. If you look at the major projects, so what happened in the Olympics, if you look at the Tokyo Olympics, it was about to happen in 2020. And because of COVID, it got postponed and it happened in 2021. So if you look at that, the resources required just multiplied. They have to spend a lot of more money than they expected. Why? One of the reason was the time, because they have to postpone it. And other reason was the quality. There were a lot of changes they need to do it. So when they change the time, automatically the cost has changed. It's almost impossible that we just change one aspect of that and other 2 are not getting affected. No, it will definitely get affected. If you want higher quality, it will take more time, more money. If you want to do it early, again, it might cost more time and it might be compromising on the quality as well. So in short, why we need to know this is we have a holistic approach. We understand how changes in one area will affect the other areas. So everything is interconnected. For example, we got a new deal. Let's say we have got one business client. Okay, they need, let's say, 1,000 laptop, and we have to deliver that in 1 week. Let's say we agree on that time, or we are thinking to agree on that time. So can we just do it on the project time without thinking about the cost, how it will be, and the quality? Especially if you are agreeing to do it in 1 week or 10 days in a less period of time, then we might have to procure the inventory early. That will also be costly. And when we are rushing to get that, we might not do proper quality check or the number of controls what we usually do. Then this can affect quality also, isn't it? If you just think about the time and agree, then we are affecting on the cost and the quality. Maybe we are not getting the margins we expected. Then project life cycle needs solution implementation completion. So basically, what was the need? What problem we are trying to solve? Why we are doing it? It's a normal business or it's like a special project, and why we are doing it? That's the need. Then what is the desired solution we are trying to achieve? Obviously, we are implementing it and eventually completion of the project. End of project review meetings can also help. Internal review. This appoint to review the planning, management, and reporting and controls. And appoint to discuss success and failure. Technically, whenever something happens at the end, this is a reactive approach to help in the future projects. It helps another project. It can be used to see the human resource and give them new opportunity. It's all about improvement for the future projects. And if you see an external review, or we can say external means by the external stakeholder. The most important, what is the most important part of any project? What is the one most important part?
The
Hello?
implementation.
Expectation.
Sorry?
Expectation.
Yeah.
Completion of the project.
Just the completion?
And the expectation good quality.
Technically, if we have satisfied the stakeholder or not, the users or not, the most important part is we can complete, but there's a compromise on the quality, compromise on the cost. Ultimately, have we solved that problem, or has we satisfied the customer, the end customer? That is the most important part. Like we discussed about the Olympics example in Tokyo, it overran in time, it overran in cost, but still it was a success. Why? Because the end user, they were satisfied. Everything was as per the standard. Ultimately, that matters. Imagine they have cut the cost and they have done it early, but we have not solved the main problem. We have not uh, achieved the need. Why it was? Then it's a complete failure. The other two things can be, little bit of failure or the effectiveness was less. But the most important part is, have we achieved what we wanted to do? Then their feedback and review, that's all can keep on happening. Ultimately, whether we have achieved or not. Final project report can also help us. Project overview, customers requirement, deliverables, what was that and what we did. Many times we start with something and during the period there is a lot of changes happening. So received deliverables can affect actual achievement, what we planned and what was the actual thing and what's the difference. There can be slight difference, fine. If it is a massive difference, means we have not achieved that. Objective achievement. Assessment of how well the project met its original objectives. Then future consideration, what we can learn from this for the future. But the problem is the current end user, they might not be interested for the future. They are like, we just need quality in this. If you learn, that's your personal thing. But as a payer of that, if they are sponsoring it, they need the quality. Project closing cycle can also help. There are a lot of information. Don't try to learn all of this. It can be overwhelming. But just understand the basic of project. That three area: time, cost, and quality. What is a good project? What is not a good project? Why it can fail? How it can be successful? That is more important for you. Then we have post completion audit. Again, anything with the post is for the future. Post completion audit is all about reviewing the success of the project. Have we achieved or not? If yes, what went well? If not, what doesn't went well? Or maybe it's not like this in the real world. It's in between. It's in gray area. Some things have gone well. Some things have not gone well. So what went well and why? What doesn't went well and why? Have we achieved at least, let's say, 80% of our target, 75% of the target? Is the stakeholder satisfied? The primary benefit derived from the post completion audit is to augment the organization's experience and knowledge, increase the experience and knowledge. This may be difficult to quantify. It may be necessary to justify the cost of the post completion audit by carrying out cost and benefit analysis. Like how much cost we can save in the future project by investing the resource in the post completion audit. But the problem here is we need to retain that employees. If that employees who work on that project is not there, that experience they have got, it can be a problem again. Or maybe we can have all that information with us in the form of data, then we use that as a training. Other benefits can be more realistic forecasting for the future. Understanding future projects is better. Improve future decision making, project management performance. It can also help customer satisfaction, risk assessment. There are so many points which can be there. However, in our cases, it's not necessary we'll have all of this. It depends on the business. Honestly, what we are doing is just sales. We are neither manufacturing and all. I believe for us, it can be more about the cost, what we are passing on, the cost benefit, and the time. And quality is all about the checks. That's it. We're not manufacturing on our own. So nothing much for us. During the process, a lot of time change happens. So how to manage the change? This diagram is good to understand. Change management. Let's say we start selling other electronics in Ressett. That's also a change. Or if you, yesterday we were discussing, some of you also recommend that we should go and start doing offline business again. Remember, we used to do offline before. We stopped complete offline, we went online. And now with the competition coming up offline also, we can have offline business also. So prioritization, authorization, agreement, recording, and communication. Assessment and rank request based on impact and urgency we can do. Authorization. So technically, whenever change happen, change is uncomfortable. As a normal human being, we don't like change. Even a lot of people, when they just change their place of, if they just change their bedroom, if they just change their place where they eat, they'll feel uncomfortable. In the office, if there is major changes happening, the entire business model will be affected. Now it will be uncomfortable. They have to learn a lot of things again, or they have to find a new way of doing things, right? So that time it can be a problem. So you have to showcase the leadership. So let's say communication can be important, giving them time. And a lot of time, if the business model change, some people will be in threat, assuming that they will lose the job. So we might have to give them the confidence and train them. All of this is important. Prioritizing, you're talking about to see at the things which matters the most, the first one, the most urgent one. Then obviously authorize it, agree with the stakeholders, record the changes. Why recording is important? So that it can be used for the training. And again, it's not the last change we are going through. In the future, we'll face some more changes. So that time, these learnings can be used. Ideally, we should have a change adapt organization. What is change adapt organization? That we are almost ready to change, like a startup. In startup, they're ready for changes. But when the company gets mature, they're stable, they become risk averse, or they take less risk. Plus, they are not so much into change. They move little slowly because it's like a bigger elephant now. So the speed will reduce. Inform stakeholders of the change impact and schedule why multiple channels, email, meetings, and dashboards. It depends what kind of communications we can use. Configuration management includes version control. I mean, this is just about the technology, ownership, responsibility, authorization. They won't ask you all of this. This is for us to understand that all of this will be detailed. We can use later latest software which can help us be ethical in what we are doing and control the performance like we discussed yesterday. We can use balance scorecard, or we can give KPIs which are financial, non-financial. like here deviation prevention. So we need to be ready with the conflict that might arise, or we need to be ready with the resistance that might arise. We should not assume, okay, we'll say and the team will listen. And it's not like we can make people redundant. We need them. So how to solve that resistance? In order to solve that, we need to understand where it is coming from. It is from job security, it's from the social security, or it is from some people feel like their importance will reduce, especially the middle managers or senior managers. They might think, okay, some new individuals or younger people will be sitting next to them, or they'll have the same level of power or better than them. They don't like it. It also depends on the culture. Wherever we feel like we can deviate, so we can prevent it, we can correct it, we can plan it, we can implementation, reporting and meetings. Excuse me. Then reports, communication. Ultimately, one point you can always use in project negotiation, leadership is communication, effective communication. So if you have 40% question, 50% question, for 10%, your one paragraph is always ready. If you just apply it properly. Then just the extension of that, what tools and techniques we can use. You need to know these softwares, not necessarily for the case study. This is usually asked in individual E2, but we can just go through it. Critical path analysis process, a 7-step guide. So this is one of the step you can use, or you can say we can use a specific software for managing the project. Honestly, in our Ressett case, our project is not very complex. This might be helpful for if you're doing a construction business, if you're manufacturing cars, or if it is with the roads, your multinational business, isn't it? In our case, we have to use a simple analysis, cost and benefit. If you're investing so much in this as a cost, what kind of benefit we can get? I believe in our case, even if we use basic software, MS Office, most of that task can be done. What do you guys think? Hello? Are you guys there?
Yes, for reporting purpose, we can use MS Office like MS Excel, Advanced Excel, PowerPoint. So basic things we have in the Microsoft, so we can use it. We don't need the advanced versions. We can implement the like SAP and all, but I think we don't need.
Yes, we can go with some basic software even if we need. We don't need to invest so much. We don't have a complex project. This is all used in a very complex project. It may be international, or it goes for years, and so many more things. It has bigger risk. Then these things will work. So whenever we are investing somewhere, we have to just look at cost and benefit. For example, like here we are talking about histogram. Histogram can help us to understand the project, but it's usually for the demography if you're into different geographical areas. And our business is dependent on each other. Let's say automobile company and some manufacturing is happening in different place. If batteries, let's say EV battery is making in some place, motor is made in other country, then the body and the tire is coming from somewhere else. There it might be important. Obviously, it has a lot of advantage, but in our case, I don't think so. And if it is not related to our case, I don't think a question should also be coming from here. Because if this comes, instead of answering what are the benefits, you might say it's not useful for us. Doesn't have a cost and benefit analysis. But advantages are very simple. It helps the capacity planning, resource scheduling and management. The resource availability and allocations can be shown on histograms to highlight overloads and underutilization. Easy visualization of resource is drawn on real time. So real time, that is very important. Communication, when we say, if it is outdated or if it is like very late, then it can be a problem. If you have a system which gives real time information, it can make a lot of difference. Project management software may be used in a variety of ways throughout the project and can provide the following benefits: planning, estimating, monitoring, reporting. Reporting is very important. Let's say we have taken a loan and the banks need the proper updates. Many times the bank will not allocate funds unless they uh, know that we have done some part of the project, because they must be giving money for this specific project. So they want to make sure that money is utilized properly, the funds are utilized properly, and they are seeing the progress, because they're also here sharing a little bit of risk, right? And obviously to the other stakeholders. Planning, estimating, monitoring, and report. What are the other advantages of using software? Planning control, improved communications, improved quality, accuracy, ability to handle complexity for large complex projects. That's what I was saying. What if analysis like scenario planning, timesheet recording. Now, how to choose which software to use? The logical point is determine the requirements, document it, review the shortlit packages, demonstrate a trial package, and at the end select. Or we can just do a pilot thing or do some trial, then eventually look for it. You guys must have heard about Prince2 or PMBOK. So these are like two famous globally for the project management. One is UK based and one is US based. But both are working in the same way. Which one to choose depending on our complexity of the project. Each process is defined, its key inputs and outputs in addition to the specific objectives to be achieved and activities to be undertaken. It also helps in risk management to improve better controls. It enforces a clear structure of authority and responsibility. It ensures that production of key products is there, because many times if it is complex, unless the previous thing is complete, we cannot go to the next one. So it is resource wastage for the entire thing. It also take care of the quality, so we don't have to do it again. If you want to understand this specific, maybe a video can help you, but it's not required for us. NPM BOK is something similar. They are working in a different way. Project management knowledge areas. Now quickly, if you look at why project fail, after doing all of this, still most of the project is not fail, means it's not like they go for a loss or they go bankrupt. They don't achieve the synergy. Poor project planning. Whatever planning they are doing, many times it can be unrealistic or too optimistic. When we start anything, we are too optimistic. As simple as if you want to say how your this week will look out, like we'll make a very optimistic plan, but in reality it might be different. Limited resource dedication. Resource is a problem, or many times company want to improve their profit by just cutting on the resources, stretching the resource like human resource. Then improper team, or the team motivation is not there, or the leadership struggle to keep the team motivated throughout, or they were not involved, they were not felt important, so they left in between. Poor risk mitigation. We'll definitely face problems, we'll face risk, we are not mitigating it. Inadequate stakeholder management. Ineffective communication. Like we just discussed, encode and decode. Maybe the understanding was correct, or the way the company wanted to communicate was correct, but it was received in a wrong way. Ineffective communication. Lack of scope of change management. The team was rigid. The company's culture was different, and suddenly we have taken a project which requires a lot of change, and we are not monitoring properly. Usually in the start, let's say it's a 1 year project, so within 1-2 months itself we'll understand whether we are reaching there or not, what we need to change. So these are some of the major problems. Risk management is just repeated from the P2 is the same thing. What are the process, Tara? I hope this is clear with you guys. No need to go through it again. But risk is part of whatever we do. Dealing with risk and uncertainty. Scenario planning. Scenario planning is like looking at the future. What if this happened? What will we do? Let's say government comes up with new regulation in electronics. That's the scenario plan. Let's say government says that the OEM, the original equipment manufacturer, they should be recycling the products. It's mandatory for them. Then how it will affect our industry? That's the scenario plan. Buffering is like just to keep an extra time. Let's say you can do something in 5 days, but you're giving 7 days. So 2 days of buffer. So that is more practical because we have to plan. Ideally, a plan should also have this buffering. We have to plan for our plan not going according to what we agreed. There can be definitely some problems. Maybe we cannot see now, but in between we can face. That's like being more practical. Should not be encouraged. Therefore, managers will know about this buffering. The directors will know, but they won't communicate this to the employees. So employees will be laid back. They'll always try to build a pressure on employees. Okay, we are running late and have to get it done. Different charts can help. Again, these charts and everything is type of communication only, or we can say live communication to understand where we are, where we need to be. Not required in our case. We are not doing so much complex. Then plan versus actual progress. This is really good to keep a track what we wanted to do and what we can. There can be a small discrepancies, small differences, but it's fine. If it is major, then we need to do the entire changes. But the problem is, if to do the change, do we have the resources? If we're struggling with the resource, it can be another problem. And that's the reason a profitable project might become a loss making project. Why? Because we didn't do as per the plan, or many times the raw material price has gone up, or we didn't do a proper risk management to control that raw material. Let's say we have not done a forward contract, hedging, which can be leading to a failure. Any questions? We have a last section. Let's finish. Any question you have from the previous one?
Nothing visible.
No, sir.
I know it's a lot of theory, but we have to do as a part of syllabus. As I'm repeating so many times, just look at the main part. That's it. Even if they ask, they will never go into that deep because we are not doing very detailed project. Okay, now project leadership, just extension of that. What kind of leadership we need in the project? We have talked about team leadership. Obviously, that skill is required. But on the top of that, if somebody is a project director, project manager, they need to showcase a different level of leadership because the complexity is very high. And everything will come to again that the triangle, time, cost, and quality. As a project leader, you should control the time, cost, and quality. Control as in, you should do it between the deadline. If you're able to do these three, you are extraordinary leader because that's the most challenging part. At least one of that can be a trouble in any smaller project or a bigger project. So clear role definition and structured communication are essential for successful project execution. They have been mentioning communication word almost in every chapter, you must have seen. And definitely it's not overvalued. It's that important. When responsibilities are aligned and decision-making authority is well established, teams can operate with confidence. Teams, we have seen the teams. Confidence, accountability, and focus. Accountability is very important. This approach minimizes confusion, streamlines reporting, and ensures that each contributor understands their part of delivering project outcomes. So how things work? We have a project sponsor first. Now, who is the project sponsor? Sometimes it is the same person who is using that resources. Let's say the customer. Or sometime, let's say we have taken a government project. So government is a sponsor, but the public is using that. So in both the cases, review will be different. If it is the same person sponsoring and using it, the product or service, it can be easier. But the other person, it might be different. Then project owner, interested in end result being achieved. Maybe it is a company who is taken the project. They might have outsourced us. Project customer, the customer user is the end user. It can be sponsor also. It can be different as we discussed. Then project manager. Your role is like a project manager. They are testing your project management skill. Responsible for overall project output to achieve the quality within the time frame using the resources what we agreed on. And project team, obviously now we'll have different skill, different department responsible for achieving project task. So the briefing, allocation of funds, time, taking the time, cost and quality is coming from here. And the proposal status report will go from down to up. So if you're communicating live, this might. Life cycle of project teams, as we discussed previously. Many times companies are doing multiple projects. It can be even difficult to manage. So we can have a different project manager for each. Or sometimes they want to utilize the resources. If it is a similar project, it cannot be 100% same. If it is a similar one, it might help. The matrix structure aims to combine the benefits of decentralization with those of coordination. If you coordinate and decentralize, it might help. Again, not relevant for us. You can go through this image, you'll get an idea. Impact on project achievement, if you are doing matrix. Main thing is you can save on the cost. Maybe you can have better decision making because you can use that resources. Replacement of formal contract. Managers might get more responsibility to grow. Lateral communication, cooperation between specialists can come. Disadvantage, lack of responsibility. Functions lose control of the psychological contract. Now they don't know which one to prioritize, which one to commit. Or they just want to do both as a formality. And we need different specialists. If it is just one person managing that, are we compromised on the quality? Project manager will not have that level of authority. Employees might be confused. There will be more frictions coming in, conflict coming in. And managers can get overwhelmed. But if done, obviously there is a challenge. If done, it can have a lot of profit for the company. It can save cost. And eventually it will improve our reputation. So what you need to do as a project manager, you need to show team composition and roles. When you're setting up a team, you should select the team as you need. So that can be a good start, which you feel comfortable to work for, which you feel are dedicated. Then communication, obviously, the manager should have the power, one-to-one meeting, group meeting, formal, informal, whatever they need to do. Adopt participative management. Again, this is not mandatory. Adopt participative management. It depends on, again, the project manager. Sometimes it might help. Imagine every time we are doing participative management, what will happen? It will waste time. Or even if it doesn't waste direct time, it will delay the decision making. Then ensure role clarity and minimize conflict. What is expected from them, which date, what they need to do, it should be very clear. What are the rewards if they do it? What are the punishment if they don't do it? Simple as that. Then managing stakeholder conflict. How you manage stakeholder conflict? We understand their power and interest. this can be important. What are the must-have interpersonal skill? What you should have as a project manager? Clear objective. What is your end goal? You should envision what you are trying to achieve. Clear schedules. Which day? What is the deadline? Role ambiguity. Overlapping roles cause confusion. That should not be there. Managers limited power hinders decisions. So managers should be given the power. They should be autonomously they should be deciding it. If it is the remote groups, again, they have to use a different strategy. Personality clashes they have to take care of, or people working from different cultures. Interference management, mending disrupt project flow. Managing conflict. Conflict will arise, and how soon we are managing it. And what it includes: risk management, dispute management, negotiation, we can do partnering, compromise. All of these are the skills. If you go in a little bit of detail, we have some more skills to look at. Coming from technology, it is coming from leadership, or we can say people and leadership skill. Personal and adaptive traits. We are talking about team to be change adaptive. So what about the project manager? Extraordinary communication, interpersonal skill. Like, it's not only about IQ, EQ, emotional quotient. Business acumen is very important. In fact, if you see closely, CIMA exam is also testing on that. If you see number 3, strategic and business acumen, CIMA is testing on that. Communication, when they test leadership and people skill, they are testing this interpersonal skill and leadership and number 2 and number 4. And technology, we have got digital skill, digital strategy, what we're talking about, cyber security in the risk, that is technical skill. And through personal adaptive, if you see, critical thinking is also there. Time management, in 3 hours, we have to do 4 tasks, which we usually don't do at work that fast, isn't it? Like 8 topics. And we have to adopt every time because the pre-scene changes. It's not the same thing. So technically, the skills what we are learning here is very similar to what we need in a good project manager. And I think this is not limited to just a project manager. If you just see a good finance manager, a good CEO, a good CFO, almost all of them should have these skills, right? And the most important is adaptability, I think, because we need to keep on changing. What do you guys think? Which one is the top skill according to you? Or maybe you can think in our scenario, which one is the most important skill?
Communication and leadership are the 2 skills actually which are required at our position.
Communication, you would say, over all other skills?
Definitely, all skills are required, but you said the topmost.
Okay, after communication we have discussed. Apart from that, which one is it?
Strategic, of course. Business acumen.
Right, very important. So usually as a finance person, we think just about finance, but eventually we need to understand our business, our industry. We need to contribute and create value for our organization in a different way. Then only we'll get promoted, then only we'll get more responsible. If we just do our job, let's say we are in account department doing debit credit, we'll never get to that level. We have to go beyond numbers, especially with the automation. The expectation from us will be totally different what the finance people used to do in the past, right?
Of course.
Yeah, so that's it from me too. It was pretty small compared to other ones. Any questions you have? What we can do now is we can start writing questions. So hopefully, I believe when you guys can complete your Excel analysis completely, like fully, how many more days you need? Tell me honestly.
I'll do it maybe before Tuesday. Maybe I'll do it today. So I'll share it with you.
Okay. Everyone can finish by Tuesday maximum. So what we can do from Wednesday, we can start writing. So I'll share the question on the group on Wednesday, and maybe by Thursday you can write it, the entire one. Okay.
Like
Then
single
this time,
question will for 45 minutes or complete
complete one, 3 hours.
complete mock. I don't think so. I can write on Wednesday complete mock, but I'll try as much as I can.
Otherwise,
Write.
what you do, you write half on Wednesday, half on Thursday. 90 minutes on Wednesday, 90 minutes on Thursday. Is that
Okay.
more practical?
Yeah, I'll try. I'll share before Saturday.
Yeah. Don't do 3 hours. I can understand. Working day, it can be difficult. Let's be practical.
Are you sending the mock?
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
send. I mean, it's there on the Google Drive, but I can again share in the group which one to do.
Okay.
But on Wednesday, first finish the Excel. Even if you guys do by Friday, is fine. So I'll make
Okay.
sure that by Saturday it is marked. So we have that marking. Then in Saturday session, we'll discuss. We'll share the screen and we'll go through each one of your mocks one by one. Then maybe we can write another one on Saturday or on the Sunday session. And if you finish early your analysis before Wednesday, you just revise what we have done and go through the important topics. Or maybe on Sunday we can have a look at the important topics also, 50 important. All right.
Okay. Sure.
Thanks, Viva. Thanks.
Okay.
Thank you. All the best.
Thank you so much.